moles. First of all, can people let me know whether they can hear us? Otherwise, toggle, toggle, toggle. Just waiting for people to respond. Okay, excellent. People seem to have got sound. And we're going to paste the stream where you can watch this. Okay, and what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to do a roll call of all the moles that we've got here on stage. And what I'm going to do is do the front row, who are the moles who are going to be talking to you. I'm going to start off on the left and work to the right. And the first mole is Abner Mole.
Hello.
And then we have Naughty Mole.
Hello.
And then we have me and Patch Linden next to me.
Hiya.
And then we have Squeaky Mole.
Hi there.
Then we have Missy Mole.
Hi, everyone.
And then we have a Lotta Mole.
Hello.
Now going for the back row. On the left, we have Glowing Mole. Next to him, we have a mole for a wonder, and that's Quartz Mole. And then we have Spiffy Mole, Lost Mole, Squishy Mole, Glamorous Mole, looking very glamorous in a dinner jacket and bow tie. We then have Ancient Mole, Garden Mole, Paranormal, Shimmy Mole, and last but not least, Magic Mole. And I'd like to thank all of the moles and Patch for joining me here today. Housekeeping note, we're going to do, as always, I'm going to ask you to pass any questions you have to either Dorney Davio or Patch Linden. And they'll be Patch will be forwarding those questions later in the show. But let's start by asking a few questions of the moles who are going to talk. Some of the moles don't talk, they just type. But as this is going out on a live stream, we're going to talk to the moles. So I'd like to ask how you came to work as a mole, and I'll kick off with Abner.
Well, I was started with when the LDW started way back in 2008. I think there was some blog post or in the forums or something, and somebody directed me to it, so I put it in an application and talked to Michael and way back in the day, and that's how it kind of started. It's still kind of fuzzy because it was 11 years ago now.
Right. Naughty, what about you? You've been a mole for quite a while as well, I think.
Yes. Just over 11 years ago, I was approached by Jack Linden, and he said they were starting this new group called Linden Department of Public Works, and would I like to join with the aim to improve the mainland and make the experience better for residents. So I said yes, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
And of course, I think you were involved in Barney's Bay, is it? On an island off the mainland.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That was one of the regions that we did up, to make a nice, interesting place for residents to visit.
And of course, there's the Sea of Fables.
Yes. Yes, that was quite a long time ago. But it was a nice place for people to sail around and visit.
And they're still there. You can still go and visit them. There's some interesting things to find there.
Oh, yes, there is. Yeah. We've got lots of old content. I mean, we've been doing this for 11 years now. So there's loads of interesting places to visit.
And coming on to Squeaky, how did you come to join?
I actually joined exactly a year ago. I got discovered on SLB as an exhibitor. The Lindens came to my region, and as I was sitting there, I suddenly saw first 2, 5, suddenly 20. I was like, what is going on? And a bit later, I just kind of Patch asked me would you be interested to be a mole? And I'm like, are you joking? And it took me a few days to actually realize he wasn't joking. And slowly from there, I just kind of became who I am now.
And Missy, how about you?
Well, I am just about a year old too. I think my res day might have been exactly a year ago today. And just like Squeaky, it was a complete surprise to me. I happened to have a very good friend who was a mole, and she worked with marketing, taking pictures. And last year, Patch was looking for a few extra moles to come on and help taking pictures for marketing and other projects. And I was approached about that. So I started doing that and was kind of just available to do anything and everything. And then luckily fell into working with SLB this year, which has been a wonderful experience.
Yes, I was going to say that Squeaky and Missy, you've done quite a lot of the work on SL16B.
Squeaky took the lead on it, and in April, I think he approached me and asked if I would like to help. And doing events in SL is something that I have a lot of experience with. So I said, sure, I'll help. And I did not realize to the extent that I would be helping, but I've been very pleased to be involved with it.
Right.
And Squeaky has just been amazing with what he's been able to coordinate and pull together.
So it is actually your res day today. I just looked, Missy. So maybe the audience ought to have a quick chorus of Happy Res Day.
Well, I think that would really apply to me and Squeaky and Alata. We all joined within about a week of each other last year.
Okay, collective Happy Res Day then. Alota, how did you come to join?
Well, a year ago, I met Patch, who was the first Linden I ever met, because even though I have a lot of years in Second Life, I never met any Linden. And he just checked my profile and saw that I have the Flickr pictures, and he just wanted me on the team for marketing. And I was like, are you kidding me? Of course I want to be part of the moles. So, yeah.
So that's raised an interesting point. That's raised an interesting point. That the moles do a kind of wide range of things. Can you tell me some of the things you do? I'm going to go round you all again. But then we can bring out some of the other things that you do. Abner, what about you? What kind of things do you do as a mole?
I do a little bit of everything and a lot of nothing. To kind of put it that way. Sort of I kind of describe it as a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Right now, what I've been doing mostly is laying out regions for the Linden Homes Bellis area continent, and
Right.
and that kind of goes towards what I would want to say is that we all work as a team. So as much as we have our own specialities in a lot of cases, one of the things I would do also is I would make the videos and things for like Paleo Quest and then Linden Realms and all of that. But it's a team effort. So everything that I do relies on all of these moles that you see sitting here and behind us. A lot of the stuff I couldn't do without the content and things that those guys are making. So even though I'm not making the actual content, it's very much a team effort in everything that we do. But really, that's what I'm doing is I'm taking the things that they're making right now and putting it all together.
Right. And that's a job that is huge because you're now trying for releasing a region every 3 times a week, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We're trying to release them essentially as fast as we can, while still, keeping it as good as people expect it to be. And even that's just not me. I mean, we have a lot of these moles are helping with the decoration and then the quality assurance and all of those things to make sure that those things get done on time so we can get them out.
Which, of course, everyone is very keen to have them coming out. That's
believe
wonderful.
me. Yeah, we're quite aware of that.
You may have noticed, yeah. You're also crafting the regions individually, aren't you? I mean, it's not kind of a cookie cutter job here.
No, it's not at all. It's very much what we wanted to do is we wanted to make this a true continent, so that it has that. It's not just a grid of little pieces all put together. That it actually has that feel of a contiguous, huge, giant landmass. The way that mainland.
Yeah. Except a slightly more formal look.
Yes, very much so.
Yes. So, Naughty, what about you? What sort of things do you do?
Hi, I manage all the projects that we work on. Make sure all the tasks are allocated so that you know who's wants to do it and who's most suitable. Track the project, keep all our documentation in order. Take meetings. I also do some Photoshop work, decorating, recruitment, and lots of other things too.
That sounds a really busy and vital role, because especially with something like all the Linden Home releases.
Yes, it is very. It is very. But the things that I do just interlink into what everybody else. Like Abner was saying, we all work together as a team, and everybody's role is just as important as the next person's role. Because without it, we wouldn't be able to do it. Really,
we've had comments. I don't know if you've seen them. She's our mole mama, says Ancient Mole.
Oh.
And Glowing Mole says she keeps us in good marching order.
She cracks that whip.
Squeaky, what about you? What kind of things do you do?
I originally joined as a scripter, but I kind of became a mini Epner and just kind of started doing like all kinds of stuff. My biggest role right now with Linden Homes is QA, making sure everything is correct as it should before we release anything. I also have been doing a lot of management at SLB, as you can see. I'm also pretty active on the mainland, including the railroad, as a lot of residents have discovered. And yeah, it's pretty much like they said. It's pretty much a bit of everything.
And Missy, obviously SL16B is a big thing for you.
Yes, have put in a lot of work in the last several weeks on SL16B, mainly helping with the exhibitors get set up on their parcels. That was a huge job. There's close to 160 exhibitors, and just working with all of them to get them set up was challenging at times, but always very rewarding to see the different exhibits come together. I started taking pictures, so I've done some of that, and I'm always happy to do that. I've had a chance to do some decorating for the Linden homes, which has been a lot of fun. And I was just asked to organize the Belisaria Fairgrounds, which are a new event parcel in the Belisaria continent, where residents are going to be able to basically hold events for the community. So I'm getting that set up right now. Patch had spoken about that earlier this week, and we hope to have that up and going within the next couple of weeks. We have a couple of events already scheduled next week for the 4th of July, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, that'll be exciting. Yeah, certainly go over and take a look at that. Are there going to be fireworks? Or is that a secret at the moment?
Well, I will say that it's the 4th of July. So I don't want to give anything away, but it is the 4th of July.
Yeah, and there are traditions.
Exactly.
Alota, what about you? What sort of things have you been doing?
Well, I think that you will find our answers a little bit always starting the same, which is that we find ourselves doing a lot of stuff all together. I think we work a lot like a family, and it's like whenever you need someone, they're just there to help. I originally started as marketing and exclusively marketing, and did a lot of the pictures that are out there. But then I found myself decorating for Linden Homes, and then I found myself working on SLB16, and so I was doing something else. Like I like to keep myself busy, so whenever I see a chance that I can help or do something, I just introduce myself there and start helping. So
that's great. Okay, I was going to ask all of you. You all have mole personalities, but are you moles all the time, or do you spend time in your original avatar as well? And I'll roll through from Abner.
I am a mole a lot of the time. The primary thing that I'm doing, but I do log in as a regular resident. I mean, that's the thing to remember, that yes, we're all moles, but we were residents before that, and we're still residents. I mean, in our off hours, yeah, we're in world doing things, just like everybody else is.
I think that's important, because sometimes people hear that the moles are contractors and they think they've been kind of parachuted into Second Life. But that's not true, is it? You all started as residents.
Yes.
And
yeah.
What about you?
To do what I just want to say, to do what we're doing, we need to be residents. We need to have that understanding of how SL works and how things interact with each other. Everything from land to permissions to what's necessary for how things just work in Second Life.
Right. Glowing Mole says it's like the secret personality of Batman. And a lot of Mole agrees. Naughty, what about you? Do you spend much time as your original avatar still?
I don't spend as much time on my original avatar, only because I do. I'm on my mole avatar pretty much all the time, but I do get to go on occasion and do get together and go out shopping, events, that which is a lot. I don't get to do it as much as I used to, and I do miss it. But I do like to try and do it to, just keep in touch with what's going on and go out and take part and socialize. So, yeah, that's it.
Must be easier to go to things like gigs and concerts and music events as your original avatar rather than as naughty because people are going, oh, it's a mole.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. uh,
Okay. What about you three have come in more recently? So do you find you still spend time as your original avatars, Squeaky and Missy and Lotta?
I think I would say I spend like 50% time myself. Mostly also because the QA job I do, I feel like paying attention to what's happening in SL and what people actually enjoy and what they expect is kind of important to this. So I explore a lot on both of my accounts, trying to figure out what people would like, especially now with Linden Homes project. I have to sometimes sneak around, figuring out what they like. So yeah, I definitely would say it's a balance for me. I do think in the morning I spend most of my resident, and evening it's more work.
Interesting. Sort of reverse of the conventional way of doing it. What about you, Missy?
Well, I don't actually spend a lot of time on my original avatar, but I do still have a region under her, and there are events that I do, not as a mole. So I'm certainly a part of the community, not as a mole, but I feel like I spend more concentrated time in SL as a mole recently.
Well, SL16B has been a huge thing. What about you, Alotta?
Well, I do use my resident a lot, to be honest, because Second Life always been my creative space, like a little escape to do the things that you cannot do in real life in creative wise. So I always enjoy quite a lot to be part of Second Life. I think the mole part is more like the little dream that I had to make Second Life an awesome experience for everybody else too, and beautify Second Life and with the perspective I had at the moment. So yeah, but the resident is still pretty active. Like sometimes they even mix. Like I'm working, I'm using my resident at the same time. It's always there.
So I'm going to ask Patch to come in with a question now, because we've got rather a lot of questions, which is brilliant.
Oh goodness, yeah, we've got so many. Picking. Hey, Megan, she actually made a comment. She just wants to tell Quartzy Wartsy that she loves him. That's kind of
That's rather sweet, yes.
So another question, or a question that came up is, strange things often happen in SL. What's the weirdest problem you've ever had to fix with a mole build? I think probably somebody on the panel can take this.
Yes, that's a good question. I'd like to go for it. Abner, what do you think is the weirdest one you've ever had to fix?
That's really difficult to answer. I think part of it is the fact that there's been so much. There's lots
One
of
of
frustrating.
games?
I guess that could be it. We've had a lot of with the games. We get a lot of people that try to find creative ways not to play the game that they are supposed to. I guess I probably could mention that one. We found that in the PaleoQuest game, there's a game. They're part of the PaleoQuest game where at the end you have to take a giant swab and you have to go and you have to find the dino DNA, and you do that by using the giant cotton swab for picking up the dino feces, and it tells you whether or not it's a good one or it's a bad one. And I think it's amazing how creative residents can be, because we found that somebody was going around and they would always find the quote unquote good poop the very first time. And we're like, how are they doing this? And we're looking and we're looking and we're looking. And finally we realized that there was a timestamp on the creation of the object that was different between the quote unquote good ones and the ones that gave you this is a bad one, go ahead and try again. They had gone that deep into it to figure out that was how to tell the difference.
That is incredible.
Right. Yeah, and of course, once we realized that's what they were doing, we went in and fixed it so that there was no discernible way to tell the difference. But that was the weirdest thing. Every once in a while, especially with the games, we have to watch and it's okay, how are they doing this? What are they doing? And then try to figure out a way around it.
Okay, well, I think you set the bar pretty high there, actually, for the weirdest thing to do. Fixing dinosaur poop is pretty...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Naughty. What about you? What's the weirdest thing you've had to do?
Oh, I was going to say what Abner said. I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything
The top
off the top of my head.
dinosaur
Yeah, part
poop.
of it I feel like is we have it happen at an abnormally high frequency. And it's like I'm even sitting here trying to think of, I mean, just whenever we have these things happen, we're all usually together in a collective group and we discover this thing, it happens, and we all have a really good time laughing about it, fixing it, going, wow, we couldn't have imagined this happening. And, we move on. And the frequency in which that happens, I don't know, maybe we just kind of put it in the back memory bank and kind of forget about it again. But I'm sure that there's, gotta be like a blooper reel or something like that out there that just would be a barrel of laughs and with all the comedies of errors and stuff like that we've had over the years, they're just not coming to us, I guess, quick enough.
Yes, I can understand that. So, someone has just said that CB Axel's just said that she rarely plays the game. She dies even more often than Safia does. Oh, I think not. I think my record is pretty peerless for dying in games. Okay.
Yeah, we usually design games around killing you. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I've noticed. Okay, and in multiple and terrible ways. Right, Patch, next question, please.
All right. Do you get to choose when you work?
Yes, good question. To what extent do you sort of set your own hours? And let's start this one with Naughty, because you're presumably assigning people work hours.
It's totally flexible. It's up to people when they work. People pick and choose their own hours. The way that we work is we have deadlines on our actual project. So as long as we get everything by a certain date, pretty flexible. People can just log on when it's convenient for them. And we just communicate really well with them. So that's kind of glues everything together so that we end up with the final product.
Of course.
So yeah. Sorry, and also I'd like to say we have people from all around the world, different time zones. So we're just sending messages. It's going on about like 24/7. There's always someone online and always someone, chatting, and so it works. It actually works really well.
That's brilliant. I've noticed that we've got a variety of accents: English, European, American, in the talking moles, and I think that we've got more in the moles who aren't actually talking as well. So you're coming from so many different places.
Yes. Yep. All different countries, all different time zones. But it really works. It works really well.
And of course, this might be sort of unnecessary to say, but this is paid work.
Yes, we do get paid for more.
I thought I should throw that in because some people do stuff for the lab without being paid. But you are proper contractors and get paid for it.
Yes.
Patch, do you want to ask another question?
Sure. How do moles come up with their names? Is it something that you match to your personality? Is it given to you? How did it happen?
I think I can answer that a little bit, for me at least. From what I know, we got 3 options to pick from. Well, not options to pick from. We say 3 names we like, and we go in order on which one is available. I can tell you, though, that it definitely seems to be a really hard job to do to pick a name, because all the people that I see joining do the same reaction I did, and it's like, I really don't know what to pick. Oh my god, help me, help me, help me.
Yeah, it's a really tough decision at first because you have to. I mean, this is the name you're going to have, so make your choices carefully. I mean, in some ways, I kind of regret. I mean, I love my name, Abnormal. It's like, how can you not love that? But being the letter A, I tend to get picked first
Yes.
a lot, and so yeah.
Yes. So, are there any of you who really, really like your name, and any of you that would really like to change your name?
I will say something about my name. I thought and thought and thought. I spent days trying to come up with my name and finally came up with Mischievous. And I thought I was so clever because not only is it a fun name, but I spelled it in an alternative way of spelling it. So when I spell it, like in Google or an email or something, it automatically wants to autocorrect. It doesn't recognize it. And I also discovered that it's incredibly difficult for people to type to me. They don't know, it's too long. Most people want to stop after about 5 letters. And so that's why I renamed myself Missy. But the funny thing is, after I picked it, even though I liked it, I kept thinking about names, and it finally dawned on me about 3 weeks ago. I was taking a walk, and I'm like, oh my God, I should have been Freckle Mole. That would have been the perfect name.
Right.
Well, we even got so used to the Missy part that even when I mentioned once your original name, they were like, who is that one? And I was like, that's Missy. It's just, we never call her by that name, but it's Missy.
Yeah. Well, when the new name
It-
changes come in, you can change it completely.
Or I could just change it. But I won't tell you how.
Okay. Right, another question.
All right. So, do the moles have official in-world vehicles to drive around in?
No, we don't. But it's a nice idea.
Well, a lot of the times if we're driving, it's we're driving to test. So we wanted to try to test with different vehicles and vehicles that residents will be using as well. It's like if I'm making something that's going to be like a boating area, like in a lot of the Bellis area, I'm using some of the boats that the same boats that residents use.
Mhm. One thing I wondered, there has been discussion reference this week to railways and the new Linden Home continent. I was wondering about buses. Would it be possible to have something like Yavanna's Clanfair's podcast, but as buses to go around the continent?
It's actually very possible. In fact, we made a tour, not a really a tour. It's a ferry that a water taxi that goes to the Bellisaria Fairgrounds area, and I actually purchased and used Yavanna's tour scripts in order to script that. So I mean, it's very possible. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying
it could happen.
It could happen.
Because I love her. I love her scripts and her buses. And it's been working really well, I think, here at SL 16B.
Yeah. I've actually gone on the mainland and taken her pod tours over the mainland many times, just to for fun, just to I'll find a road that I made 10 years ago, and there's a pod tour going by, and I'll just hop on it, and maybe one of the moles will be with me, and we'll just watch the mainland go by and see what's changed, what hasn't changed, and that's neat over there. And yeah, they work. They work very well.
I just wanted to add to it too that we do have a few LDPW vehicles, but they're not official. We got them gifted from residents. We do have them, like some have them, some don't. We're allowed to share them between us moles and no one else, of course. And you may see us with them sometimes. I personally love driving around with them as well while testing stuff. So we do have some unofficial ones, basically.
That's very cool. Patch, another question?
Sure. Do moles have secret parties?
How secret are your secret parties, guys?
I think it's pretty much a party every single week, especially the meetings.
We had one in public the other day at the trailer area.
Yes, we did. We did. Yeah. Our parties are more just like flash mobs. Yeah. So we had some fun over at the camping area and sitting there when that opened up and just, having fun, seeing how many s'mores would fit inside of a trailer. And yeah. In fact, we're now rating our trailers based on s'more capacity.
Right. Oh, I love that idea, yes. But what size are the s'mores? How big are they?
Don't ask him to show you.
No, you don't want to know. About the size of that coffee.
Okay, so they're quite large s'mores.
I'll show you later.
Okay. Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, say we also just recently did something over at the fairgrounds too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were playing on
a big get together there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a big open space with nothing in it right now, and before you know it, Squishy setting off a nuke. So
I know you also have awesome gowns, especially the female moles. I've turned up and you've all been dressed to the nines, especially when you race through a game, holding big guns and and wearing evening dresses. I remember going through what's it called? The one that's in the adult region, Horizons, the Horizons game, with
yes,
you all in evening dress. Yeah, that was such fun. Of course, I
yeah.
died.
We tend to have fun when we're before any of those games go out. There's a lot of load testing that we have to, and those tend to turn into parties because we have everybody's playing the game at the same time, which is actually a really good way to test it, and it's a really good way to see, is this really as fun as we intended it to be? And if we're having fun testing it, we're definitely hoping that the residents are going to have fun playing it.
I can definitely see that. Ha ha ha! Yes, sorry, someone in chat has just said, why do moles always cheat in the snowball fights? I think that should be answered.
Lies.
I think I probably started that with my yellow snowball gun.
With your yellow what?
I have a yellow snowball gun,
Okay.
and it has unlimited rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
The simple answer to that is because we're just so outnumbered. I mean, I think the very first snowball fight, I was in there, and it was like me, another mole, and one of the Lindens, and that was it. So we had all of the residents all trying to attack us, and it was just us three. We were completely overwhelmed. So yeah, I resorted to things like I would stand up on the parapet, and then as people would climb up the stairs, people couldn't fly. They'd climb up the stairs to try to get to me. I would turn the stairs phantom, and they'd all fall down. And then I'd turn it back again, and then wait for them to get up to the top. And then I'd turn phantom, and they all fall.
Yes, lots of cheating.
Yes, but it's all in fun.
Yeah. So, Patch, another question.
So, what does it take to become a mole? Probably a good question for Naughty.
What does it take to become a mole? Well, you've got to apply for it and just, be just nice and friendly and willing to work as part of a team and willing to put up with everybody's warped sense of humour and, be yourself pretty much. And just work well as a team, really.
And I guess, have proven creativity in some field or another.
Oh, yes, of course. A talent, content creation, or scripting, sound, making, in Photoshop, or, just skills that would, work well within the team and the kind of work that we do. Yeah.
And Garden Mold just said, and passion for Second Life.
Yes, a passion for Second Life really, really helped as well.
Yeah, so I can probably expand on it a little bit too. I also had another question kind of rolling in the background, like what skills are required. So it really kind of depends. Everyone on the team kind of has, their specialties and what they're strong with. You've already heard Abner talk a little bit about how he is, kind of a jack of all trades. He does a whole bunch of different things, but we do have moles who specifically do scripting work, and we have moles who specifically do mesh content work and texturing, or just texturing. We have moles that do texturing and photography work. We have moles that do sound work, animation work. So if you can pretty much think of each thing or each specialty area that you can touch and or do content creation for Second Life and within Second Life, we pretty much cover and or have to cover every single one of those areas, and in some of those areas we have needs for more than just one person. Like there's several scripters, like I mentioned, there's several mesh content creators, etc. There's folks who specialize in doing terraforming work, and I say terraforming because it's terrifying. Folks that do region decor work, right? A lot of you have been watching Bellisaria kind of unfold in front of you, and the work that's been being put into that, and that team of moles that you see running around out there putting down the tree decor and the walkways and the roads and all of that stuff. There's folks who specialize in doing just that. They've got an eye for kind of putting that stuff out and together, managing things like land impact usage and structure, of how a region is being laid out. And, maybe they don't, have a lot of capability in actually making that content, but the other people in the team that do make that content do that for them. And they're the ones that then carry through to that next step, right?
So you're looking for all these kind of skills at different times and building up. Do you always have vacancies for moles, or is it something that only comes up periodically?
I like to keep the doors open. We do have specific vacancies at specific times, that come up and stuff. Our needs change. Like right now we are looking for folks who can do kind of that region decor work and terraforming, and we're looking for somebody who can probably do QA work because that's another specific area that we have needs in, especially with Linden Homes, and folks who can do really good high detail mesh work and stuff. That's kind of where our needs sit right now, and we're kind of always keeping an eye out for folks who are interested in doing that type of stuff. I always consider anybody that has an interest in working with us. I always talk to them and say, what do you do, and show me what you've done, and stuff like that. So we usually like to see kind of like, examples, samples, and portfolios of the work that you've done. It is really no different in a lot of ways from it's a paid contractor, freelancing contractor position. So you actually go through an interview process and everything. I expect to see a cover letter and either a very detailed, specific built Second Life resume for yourself, or CV, or real life. I get plenty of people who send me their real life resume too. It's akin to basically applying for a job.
So if you're interested, maybe send your resume to Patch.
Yep, myself or Derek, either one of us. We prefer them to generally come in via email so that we can kind of keep good track of them and stuff. Sending them on note cards and stuff is even via note cards is easily lost in the shuffle. Just as an example, I've received almost 14 note cards just sitting here alone with questions in them. So if you send me a note card with your information buried in there, it might take me a little while to find it if I hopefully can find it. So I usually suggest people to email me, contact me directly. Or Derek.
Are you happy to give out email address here?
Yeah, it's patch@lindenlab.com. It's not hard to figure.
Yeah.
And Derek at lindenlab.com. Pretty easy.
Derek being spelt like oil, Derek, isn't it? DRRICK.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I think he's probably out here somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so another question, Patch, now that people know how to apply.
So another question that popped up. Let's see. How do I go about reporting a problem with something out on the mainland that may have an issue? What do we usually like to see there?
Now, I'd like to give sort of do a follow-up question to that as well, because there's some very old content out there, and I wonder if that's ever going to get overhauled, like Wengen, like the old skiing area. Do you think that I know that you know there are problems with the old snow continent area. Do you think that will ever get upgraded?
Yeah, I mean, there's we have a lot of that stuff on our radar, and it's all about a matter of prioritization for us. Our most recent kind of first line priorities have been Linden Homes and SLB. In fact, SLB kind of even overtook Linden Homes there just into the immediate lead up to this opening up. Now that this is opened, running, and stuff like that, it's all about resource shifting. So we can kind of pull resources back away from this a bit, and we can go focus back on our other priority, which is Linden Homes releases. In fact, we even on Monday said and started out, with the statement that our cadence would be, a region like every other day if that seems like something we can manage. And in fact, we not only have done that, but we released 2 regions today, not just one. So I'm expecting, and again, another reason why we're looking for a few more moles, is that as this resource shifting around kind of happens, and as our project timelines kind of change and coalesce for us as we go through the rest of the year, things are going to pick up speed, and we're going to get faster with these things. So especially with the Linden Homes releases. So yeah, I think.
I kind of jumped on that, I'm afraid, because the actual question, how do people report if they find a problem?
Yeah. So Jira, file a Jira bug report, and those actually do get sent up to the team. In fact, we just recently, as a working example, had one reported to us about a small collision problem with the roads that through all of our testing and everything like that, we did not see any problems with all the various vehicles that we have and use to test. But if you just so happen to, I guess, try to drive through a particular road piece corner that has a interesting slight physics variation in it from the way it was uploaded, we found, it can send your vehicle on a good hop if you hit it just right. But it's something that came into us through a bug report by Jira. It got shuttled over to our team internally. We've already fixed it. It's gone through the QA process, and it's just waiting to be released at this point. So that's the best way to get them to us.
Excellent. Okay. Do you have another question?
I do. Let's see. I've got so many good questions here.
Well, while Patch is looking through and finding a question, I'm just going to ask the moles assembled here briefly. What would you say is your favourite project that you've worked on, just going around? Abner, what was your favourite project?
Well, I've said before, people have always asked me that, and my favorite project always seems to be the one we're working on the most at the time. And I have to say that it's definitely true in this case, which is Belissaria and Linden Homes. It's by far the biggest and the most enjoyable one that I've had so far, and I see that continuing in going forward in the future too. It's one of the best ones that I've ever worked on, and I just love doing it. And I love seeing how it's coming together. I love just seeing the community that's being built around it, and it's just wonderful.
Naughty, what about you?
I used to really enjoy when we used to go around and do up, mainland parcel here and there. So it was things like you mentioned before, Barney's Bay and Sea of Fable. I also really, really loved making Paleo Quest with everyone. That was a lot of fun. yeah, we laughed a lot making that. It was. I don't know if anybody knows, but there are some quite a few Easter eggs hidden in Paleo Quest. If anyone, I don't know if anyone's found them. I'm not going to say what they are.
Otherwise, there would be Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I enjoyed helping to put the birthday together, and I also, yeah, I'm really enjoying London Home. I'm really enjoying that. I love the resident response, because what we do is we're doing things for residents to enjoy. So when we get a very good response, it just makes it feel all worthwhile, and we know we're on the right track and everything. Yeah.
Right. What about you, Squeaky?
I don't think there's really a favorite one for me. All of them have a unique a part of it that makes it a favorite. Linden Homes definitely is the community. Hearing everything back, I think, has been really great for all of the malls. It's really, I think, honestly, one of the first times we really hear so much feedback. But there's also the games like Winner Realms. Testing that was definitely one of my favorites. It was just so much fun doing that as a team, breaking everything, and just so there's just a lot of different parts. And the same with SLB now. We have actually really enjoyed managing this. It was a lot of work, but again, the community and hearing back on what people think of it is definitely just one of my favorite things.
Missy, what about you?
I would say definitely SLB. I have really enjoyed working with the community and seeing all the creativity, especially that people bring to their exhibits. We basically ask them to try to design to the theme of the 1950s, and they have been incredibly creative in the approach to interpreting the 1950s. Not everybody was able to stay within theme, but we have things from the Korean War to London after, or the UK after World War II, to diners and drive-in movie theaters and feminism of the 1950s. So it's really been very exciting to see that creativity from the community, and then just the overall good feeling of interacting with everybody being so cooperative and enthusiastic about being here and celebrating 16 years of Second Life. And it's very inspiring.
Brilliant. Lotta, what about you?
Well, I will agree with Squeaky that each experience gives you a different feeling. Like, obviously, we don't have as many years as other malls in here, and we'll have way more to tell than us. But testing Linden Realms as a group, was an amazing experience. There's things I will never forget from that one, like Naughty screaming, "Why is everybody getting caught by the mist?" But and then just like Linden Homes, it's amazing because like we just had a bunch of regions that had nothing, and see how they turned into what it is today. And then we'll see what the residents did with it, because that's like another factor. It's not just what we did, it's what the residents turned it into. And it's a really awesome experience because they really value everything. Like they made it even better, to be honest. Like you go around and you go check in their houses and you see all they do, and it really feels like a neighborhood. The ambience is amazing, and it makes you happy to see that result in a big project like that.
That's great. What about people on the back row? Do you have any particular favourites that you can type about? And while they're typing, Patch, perhaps you can bring out the next question.
Sure, I got a fun one. So who came up with the idea for the short bus to Rancho Cucamonga in the desert areas?
Oh,
Say
that would
that
be
again,
me.
because you cut out. You cut out, Patch. Can you say that again?
Any idea who came up with the idea for the short bus to Rancho Cucamonga in the desert areas of
Of where?
Linden Realms?
Linden Realms. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that would be me. That goes back about years and years ago. It's actually a story about real life. My wife and I moved out to California for a while, and we were driving by, and we seen the signs for Rancho Cucamonga, and it's just a funny name to say.
Yeah.
So I started saying it as beautiful downtown Rancho Cucamonga, and she thought it was hilarious. And years later, we're doing the videos for Linden Realms, and we've got the announcer guy character and in the video, and it was just I just kind of just snuck it in there. Beautiful downtown Rancho Cucamonga, and it worked. And the funny part of it is, if you've ever been to Rancho Cucamonga, there isn't much of a downtown, really. So it's kind of a misnomer. I mean, no offense to Rancho Cucamonga. I'm sure it has a lovely downtown. It's just I haven't ever been able to find it.
I was just going to say that talking about places they've loved, Garden Mole said, I enjoyed making the Linden highways at the start, dealing with the landscape challenges and residents, and I loved building the original Linden Realms. It was such a new and exciting thing for Second Life at that time, but there's been so many things. And Squishy has said, my favourites are Linden Homes and what the Avatar team does for the new starter avatars. Yes, we mustn't forget that. That you've got one of the things the mods does is regularly update the avatars. Does anyone want to say anything about the avatars? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We're just trying to think of. We have a kind of a subset of moles who work primarily with the avatars. They're kind of refer to them as the avatar team, and none of them are on the stage at the moment. But yeah, the avatars have been something that we've been working on for years, just to try to improve the look of the basic default. I mean, we all remember the original Boy Next Door newbie avatars from way back in the day, and just trying to give people a better starting point. And they have improved over the years.
Yes, they have.
Yes, very greatly.
There's been some hiccups, like when the mesh avatars came in, which were really then quite hard to dress.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit of okay, this sounded like a good idea at the time, but actually looking back at it, it probably wasn't the best thing to do. Yeah. And and then we quickly kind of went back to the whole thing with the classic avatars and augmenting the classic avatars the way residents in Second Life augment their basic standard classic avatars. And of course now they at some point, a lot of them move on to mesh avatars. But we like giving residents that initial step as far as kind of being the bridge to that. Here's your starting point. Here's where you can go, and enticing them to, follow that path.
Glamorous Linden says, I think the new punishment for breaking the covenant is the Linden should revert you to Ruth. Yes, we all remember coming in as, well, quite a lot of us remember coming in as Ruth. So, Abner, I hear that you're more than one character, and we had a hint of that already.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like, yeah. Actually, if you watch the videos, I think I am. There's some videos where I am all the characters, which is kind of funny. After I edit the whole thing together, it's really just me talking to myself. I do the voices of Punky. I do the voice of the announcer guy, and I do the voice of Magellan.
Can we hear
And-
some of them?
Well, Punky I can't do because I do that post recording.
Right.
Announcer guy is just Rancho Cucamonga, and it's that typical game show host sort of voice. And Magellan is a little bit harder. It's I kind of based it on a little bit of my uncle from Kentucky, a guy I worked with, and Larry the Cable Guy. He's got that rough kind of voice, kind of like that, Yeah. it seemed to fit our Magellan avatar, and it just kind of went there. And it was kind of fun, and yeah, it helps if I have the script written out, give him funny things to say. He has his
And
little
of course,
colloquialisms.
You joined Residents on the Grid. You were in the Fairland Players for Much Ado About Nothing, weren't you? You played Dogberry.
Yes, which Dogberry was a tiny, but I essentially did the Magellan voice as a tiny.
Yeah, and that was great. Still very popular. Okay, Patch, how are we doing for questions? Because it's now the top of the hour.
We do still have a. I've got actually two more. Pick two more.
Okay.
And the first one is kind of a two-part question. So how similar, and this is probably for everyone on the panel can answer this. How similar to your original avatar is your mole persona? Do you find yourself going with what you know, or having fun being totally different?
Abner, would you like to kick off?
Sure. My dog will shut up. I mean, I started out with my mole avatar being. I mean, we all kind of started out with our original. Back in the day, we all had the little tiny mole avatar that Quartz is wearing, and then we kind of migrated to okay, this is great, but it's hard to test things for size for avatars when we're all these little tinies. So gradually, everybody just started going to whatever avatar they wanted to wear. For a while, I was an avatar that was based on my actual main avatar, and then after that, I would pick up different avatars here and there. I picked up this avatar, and that became Punky in the videos, and every once in a while I'll try a different avatar, but I seem to be coming back to this one for some reason. I just like it.
It's very cute.
It works, and it's very lightweight, which is really good.
Naughty, what about you?
I change my avatar quite often. It's normally when we go out shopping, I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, I need this, and then we're all like, go out and get things. But yeah, I've always been a human female avatar pretty much most of the time, but with just different hair and different clothes, and yeah.
What about you? What about you, Squeaky? Because you've got a very distinct avatar.
I have a few avatars, but I'm mostly staying this one for originally it just started with the name. I tried to find something that fits the name, and that's kind of what I've been sticking with. But as Evan said, with QA and all that, we do need to change sometimes to actually figure out what works and what doesn't, because sometimes works on this and the others don't. As for what we're used to, I usually stick to furry avatars because, well, that's just what I like. So,
And Missy, what about you?
Well, I know that with my resident avatar, I'm very attached to the way she looks. Like I dream about her sometimes. So the idea of changing her is very difficult. It'd be like going in for cosmetic surgery. So I really enjoy my mole avatar because if there is a certain look that I want to create, I feel much more free to do that. So I have had a lot of fun. I mean, right now I'm look pretty normal, but I have had a lot of fun with being able to go in and play with different avatar looks on my mole account.
What about you, Alota?
Well, personality-wise, my resident and I are the same. Like, because Inara will feel a little bit psycho, giving them different personalities. But looking-wise, I guess my resident is more like it has a very specific look, and I try to keep it that way. It's more like a story, like what he's telling from his look. But as a lot of, I'm everything I want to be in the moment, which gives me that freedom, and I feel more like the SL experience after all, because in SL you can be anything you want to be. So, but I do feel the freedom. Like I'm a frog sometimes. Like you said the other day, sometimes people here have seen me as a frog in the event, or as a skeleton drinking bleach. Or I'm a girl sometimes because I need to take a picture as a girl, and you'll see me like buying girl stuff around. so yeah. It depends on the mood and what I'm doing. Sometimes I just want to have fun and be around residents and just making them have a laugh sometimes. So
Yeah. Well, that's a good reason as any. How are you guys placed for talking longer? I know that some of you, it must be getting incredibly late now. Shall we wrap it up after the next question? I'm sorry that we have to do this because I think everyone has enjoyed talking to you, hearing what you have to say. But let's go with one more question.
All right, last one's kind of a fun one. So which one of us is most likely to be the Leroy Jenkins of the group when it comes to solving problems and creative input?
Ooh. What do you think? Which of you is likely to be the Leroy Jenkins?
That's kind of hard to answer because I'm not getting the reference. The Leroy Jenkins. Can somebody clarify?
Patch? Leroy Jenkins?
Well, I think if I had to guess, it's basically like who out of us would probably run in to a situation with probably a no holds barred kind of way of fixing or doing something. Probably who would have the most energetic response to solving an issue.
As far as like putting out a fire or something broke and you got to run in and I tend to do that a lot.
I was going to vote for you.
Yeah. Go on and figure out. Well, going back to the whole poop thing, I think I was the one who figured out how they were determining which one was the good one. I think I
think probably I do a little bit of it. I think you do a little bit of it.
Yeah, I think it's
whenever something happens.
It's kind of that do you have the ability to think like the criminal or think like the griefer and figure out how they're going to do things, and I kind of have that to a certain degree.
a bit like the whole Hannibal Lecter thing, but getting into the mind of Hannibal Lecter in order to solve the crimes. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, well, how are the residents gonna react when? Oh, we'll just eat them with some fava beans and Chianti.
It's a nice Chianti, yes. Okay, well, I've got one final question. And I think Patch would take the lead on it. I realise at the moment you're all frantically busy with the Linden homes, and that looks likely to continue for a long while. But are there any plans for anything else in the future? Can you say?
I don't think so I don't have any surprises at my per se, other than new types and themes and things of that nature. Our focus probably for the nearer future is going to be all Linden homes. That's got a lot of visibility on it. We'll have some stuff coming up at the end of holidays. So maybe some gifts and things, and
and of course there'll be Halloween as well.
Sure. Yeah, we have our Halloween stuff and our holiday stuff for the winter. We've got some exciting testing and experience work and stuff like that we've got also lined up for the new user experience, and some other avatar work and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't have like a Horizons or a Paleo quest up our sleeve right at the moment though.
Right. Okay, I know you can't tell us specifically all the Linden homes that we can expect, but can you give us like an estimate of how many new types could be coming in the pipeline?
Oh, I don't know. I think there's probably at least 8 themes in the pipeline. And we probably have not seriously considered a couple dozen.
Wow.
But as far as what we've kind of pinned down and say we would really like to do this and we would really like to do that, yeah, we're probably somewhere around 8 right now.
Wow.
It's very open-ended. It's very much we want to be able to kind of go with the flow and see how, because we'll come up with ideas. Oh, what if we did this? And yeah, okay, that'll work. Or no, that's a bad idea for various reasons. And so we're leaving it very fluid and very open and kind of taking it as we go.
I guess to some extent that if you're going to keep the theme of the continent, you can't go too wild and wacky. You couldn't suddenly have a spaceship as part of Belisaria, although you probably could as a separate continent.
Yeah, see, like that's one of those themes that's kind of out there for us. It's like we've thought about space, and what could that potentially look like and stuff like that. In the context of Belisaria itself, probably not.
Yeah.
But is it something that we could potentially touch at some point? Maybe.
That sounds fun. Well, I think we've come to the end now, sadly. And I think we should definitely have a Meet the Moles next year at Second Life 17B, as well as our Meet the Linden conversations. What do you think, audience? But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much to Patch Linden and all the moles here, both the talking ones and the non-talking ones. And yes, a huge, huge thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you for having us. It's been a great week.
And we're getting a lot of feedback now.